Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Martine Brisson, and in this January 2021, Happy New Year. And as we're still very early in January, it's time for resolutions and goals. Oh, that's the time of the year to set goals or not to set goals. Hmm, that is the question. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Because like I said, this time of the year, people set goals for 2021 for the year that it's starting. Things that they wish to have, goals they want to reach. And but the question I would like to ask you is, for what purpose do you set those goals? Is just because um, out of habits because it's January? Is that because something strikes your fancy and you're curious about? Uh, you feel obliged of setting those goals. No, you're afraid that if you don't set goals you'll just be aimless and do nothing really. um so why do you want to set those goals? Why do you need to reach those things? Because once you reach those goals or goal posts that you want to reach, then you have to strive to reach those goals. It's like there's an end game, and everything is a means to an end to reach those goal posts. And really, life is not to be taken so seriously. Oh, it's a playground. Um, but now we have to strive to reach those goal posts. And really, those goals are just totally made up. They just totally made up by you. It's like a line in the sand. No, it's totally made up. And if you look at, well, most people goals post now, by a certain age, have to have reached this and that and the other. But I think that those goals posts changes over time. No, not so long ago, if you were not married by 25, no, it's game over, right? And nowadays it's totally different thing. So those goals or goal posts are totally made up by you. They're not real, right? We don't have to take them so seriously. Um, but if you set something because it strikes your fancy or because it makes your heart sing, well, that's a different story. Because that means it's the wisdom inside of you that wants to create something. It's leading the way. But when you set those goals that, oh, I should have this, I should do this, I should reach whatever, then you strive and you feel obliged to meet those goals. If not, you feel like a failure. Or each time that, because it's made up, it's something that you're striving to. As soon as there's something hard or an obstacle, you're going to quit. No, so that's why at the end of January, most people probably have quit whatever resolution or goals that they have set for themselves because they were made up. They were there. It was not something they made their art sing, right? Or if you're a fan of Tony Robbins, not totally, but anyway, if you're a fan of Tony Robbins or any other people like him, no, they like to set the smart goals and then to motivate yourself towards to reach those goals and believe in your success uh, and believe really really that you're going to succeed, and then you add the vision board on top of that, and um, and then if you don't make it, then you feel like a failure. Or sometimes those goals are, and you're not a failure, it's just because the goals were probably a toxic goal in the first place. um, because sometimes those toxic goals is I'll be happy when. And when is I'll be happy when you that it's a toxic goal, right? I'll be after are we going to be happy, more happy if you reach what are the most popular ones? Um, I'll be happy when have a new relationship. I'll be happy if I weigh X amount less. I'll be happy if I have 100 grand in my bank account. I'll be happy when I have a new job. I'll be happy, whatever. Okay. So those are toxic goals. Because once you reach that famous goal, are you going to be really happier? Really? Because most people, when they reach that made up goal, they reach it, they might be happy. No, I'll be happy when I have a Tesla. Okay, so now they have the Tesla for the first week. Yay, I have a Tesla. Yippee. And then what? And then what? Right? Um, else will show up. Because says, oh well, no, that was not it, right? I've no, I would love to have a Tesla, but will I be happier with it? No, no, I'd be glad I have one, that's for sure. Um, but will I be happy if I get one? No, because that's a toxic goal. It's just a nice to have. If I have it, I'm happy. If I don't have it, I'm happy anyway, right? So, um, so yeah, so if it's a toxic goal, it's not going to make you happier in the long run. But what makes you happy right now, at this moment in time? You can set a goal, but will it be, um, will you be happy if you reach it or not? That your happiness is not dependent of having that famous goal. And look at your life, just for the fun of it. You can look at your life. Is everything in your life went according to plan? More than likely not. No. And if you look at your life, no, it's when you took those little detour, it's probably when something fun happened. It's probably more something maybe sad or also traumatic could have happened during those detour. But at the end of the detour, there was growth. You're not the same person as you were before. Or maybe you're happier because of that. No, I've known people who lost their job and at the time was like, that was not according to plan, but that brought them to something else, and they're much more happier. No, or somebody that went through a divorce and then remarried. At the time of the divorce, they were totally devastated because that was not according to plan. But now they're in another relationship and they're so much happier, so much happier. It's more um, the second partner is more suited to them, and they have better communication, and everything is better. We have so usually when things don't according to plan, does it suck at the time? More than likely, but at the end of it, there's growth. So more than likely in your life, things didn't always go according to plan. So look at the goal that you've set up for 2021. No, um, like I'll be happy if I feel safe. I'll be happier if I have 100 grand in my bank account. I'll be happy, uh, whatever. But those are toxic goals. But if you take time to be in the now, your little wisdom will tell you what it really wants and what it really needs. Um, what maybe another way to ask the question is, what will you want if you couldn't fail? Um, if you were on your deathbed, what will you regret? what really matters to you? So probably more goals that are have a more chance of reaching, because that's what makes you sing in a sense. One of my teachers, Jimmy Smarts, likes to ask, what will you do if you had the famous 100 grand in the bank account? If you already have that 100 grand in your bank account, what will you do? Um, or I like also, I think it's Michael Neal that I've heard said, and it's a very interesting question. I did do that exercise in a sense. So if you imagine that we are now the 31st of December 2021, and you imagine that you had your most enjoyable year ever, not the most productive year, but you had the most enjoyable year yet. What made it so enjoyable? What did you do that made it so enjoyable? What did you let go of that made it so enjoyable? What did you stop doing enjoyable? What did you do just for the fun of it that made it so enjoyable? So maybe something to reflect, and instead of I'll be happy when, if, but looking at what makes your life enjoyable, and you look back in your year and say, oh yeah, I would have the most enjoyable year yet if um, I let go of this, I dropped that, um, and I start doing things just for curiosity or just for the fun of it. What would that be for you? So that's all I have to say at the moment. And on that, once again, Happy New Year, and see you next week.